Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How are you doing this fabulous Saturday morning? I hope you have a mug of something fun to have while we catch up on this wonderful Saturday morning. I have my pumpkin spice everything mug because I love pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin flavors. And I know a lot of people go overboard about it, but the pumpkin flavors are only offered at a certain time of the year. So it's important to have them. It's important to celebrate them. And we're now in the month of October, right? So much to celebrate, so much to talk about, and so much to catch up on. So I hope you'll grab a mug and get comfy and pop in and say good morning. Let me know if you are here watching me live. To the folks on Instagram, good morning. To the folks on Facebook and YouTube, good morning. It's great to have you here. So if you're live, definitely pop in the comments. Let me know that you're here watching. Say good morning. Say hi. Let me know what's going on with you. Mm, love it. So I am drinking some breakfast blend coffee with the Nestle um, pumpkin flavored creamer that I whipped up to a nice frothy consistency. Mm, and it is so yum this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it is. Good morning, Teresa. Happy birthday month. Yes, it is my birthday month, and I'm so excited. So, next weekend, you're definitely going to want to tune in because it's my birthday. Well, not exactly on my birthday. My birthday's actually on October 12th, so it's a Monday. However, I'm going to start celebrating on the weekend and celebrating the whole time. It's going to be fun. My daughter is coming into town to visit, so I'm super excited about that. We're going to have a wonderful time together. But more importantly, I like to celebrate with you. So I'm going to have some giveaways and things that I want to share with you just because it's my birthday and I like celebrating. So, how was your week, guys? Let me tell you, this week, right? 2020 does not fail when it comes to could it possibly happen? Sure, it's 2020. Why not? Well, as I told you guys, remember last week we talked about this. I told you guys that I had a book that I was sharing with you called A Rule Book for Arguments. Ooh, and I've got some nice, look at there, you can see my window reflection and all that in the book cover. But a rule book for arguments, because remember, guys, I told you we had the debates coming up, and I don't know about you, but as a teacher, as a former educator, I cringed. I cringed. That wasn't a debate. We were watching two kids, you know, fighting it out on the playground, right? That wasn't really a debate in the sense of what a true debate is. And if any of you have ever been on a speech and debate club, been in a speech and debate club, or you've had to participate in a debate in high school or college, you know that what we watched was not a true debate. It was not a true debate. And I got to sip and salute. So we're going to, first of all, I'm going to sip and salute all of us who actually tuned in to watch and we had to endure that. If you made it all the way through the debate, I sip and salute you for lasting. Guys, come on. I mean, let's just sip, shall we? So remember, I told you why it's important to have a book like this on hand, especially when you want to teach your children about debate or even learn for yourself the important elements of debate. So I'm going to let folks say good morning here. Good morning, Miss Sherry. Good to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure to see you. Teresa, you needed a drink after you got off on Thursday because it was a week. Well, in your morning coffee, you could always put a little something, Teresa. Just saying, right? Good morning, Sarah. Good morning. Yeah, definitely not a debate, as Sarah said, more like bickering. And of course, when we sit down in the evening to relax and watch something, We want to watch folks bicker, right? Because that's going to strengthen the resolve of our nation. That's going to really help us understand what the problems are that our country is facing that we need to deal with in the next few years. Yeah, that was not a debate. So, Teresa, you say you have friends who said it was worse than watching kindergartners fight over who goes down the slide first. Kids did better. Luckily, you did not watch it. Sometimes not having TV is a great thing. Well, guys, listen, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. So here's how my week went. I'm sure you all remember last broadcast where I talked about my laptop crashing. Yeah, my computer crashed and I had to take it in to repair it. So I was without my laptop for a solid week. Now, I know the thought of that probably makes you cringe. However, I did have my phone, and I also utilized our house iPad. We have an iPad because now that we're living in a house with smart technology, it's all controlled by apps. And we have an iPad for the house. And I didn't want to have to download all of my personal stuff on the iPad because house iPad. So yeah, so I used my phone, I used my iPad, and I realized how important it is for me to have my laptop, my tool, the thing that I use for work, for business, and for keeping in touch with folks, and for just accessing things. You know, you can do some things on your phone, but you can't do everything on your phone, right? So that was kind of crazy. And your friends said that, and your friends are teachers, right? So what's happened? The standard of how we comport ourselves, not only in public office, but in with each other. And it was a bully match, the constant interrupting, the talking over, the bully. That's not really helping. So of course, I pulled out my rule book for arguments because this is a great book, and it's a small book. It's really not that big. It is 100 pages, and this is the updated version. So this is its 5th edition printing, and it's got some really great chapters in here on how a student is to learn how to handle public debates. And so there is a chapter called Public Debates. So I wanted to share a little bit with you today about how we compose an argument, how you debate, so that the audience is left with information that they can then take back and think about, mull over, if you will, and help them make a decision about a topic. I don't know about you, but I left that debate, one, being very disappointed and almost embarrassed, because this was televised, and not only in our country, but the world is watching. And it's horrible. It was just a fiasco. So here's what the book says about, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the topics of what you do and how you work towards having a good debate. So it says, in public debate, as in any other kind of argument, give it your best. Today especially, public debate is not easy. Stakes are high. Shared solid ground seems to be hard to find, and passions are inflamed. On the other hand, you could also think these are the kind of times that argument is waiting for. This is why you have rules for arguments in this book and have worked to build your skill at using them. Now, of course, we're in chapter 10 of this book. So usually students that I take through this book, we talk about the art of building argument, what argument really is, its purpose, and how to craft a solid one. So it says, seek the best evidence. Seek the best evidence. Don't overgeneralize. Take care with statistics. Use analogies that are illuminating and relevant. Use only the best sources. Detail objections and try to meet them. Well, see, none of that was done in the debates. None of that. It was just, you could have put the two of them in there with boxing gloves. That's what we were trying to watch. It was just a total fiasco. So the invitation is not simply to sound off. Public debate is not another kind of opinion polling, And as this book has tried to show from the start, argument of any kind is not simply a kind of fight. Public debate is ideally a process of thinking together. Thinking together. Did you guys walk away from the debate feeling like the candidates were thinking together? You had one candidate that was just, trying to talk to the American people, trying to, look in the camera. And then you have another candidate who was just, his whole job was just, oh, you're stupid, you're this, blah, 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 just and interrupt and talk over him. I mean, that's not a debate. And I don't know about you, but if I have a manager who constantly talks over me and makes fun of me or berates me, I don't want to work for that person. I don't want to even be involved with that person. Okay? So come ready to do so. Join a debate to which you can genuinely contribute. Enter it with something worth arguing about. Bring genuine evidence and ideas and use your skills to present them fairly and well. Many arguments arise from our passions and articulate and ground them, especially in challenging times. The critical point is only that passion is not an argument by itself. That someone feels strongly about some claim does not by itself give a good reason to believe it. That a claim is made more insistently or shrilly or yelled at over the other person does not make it better. That a claim is made insistently and shrilly does not make it better. In fact, you may begin to wonder whether the sound and fury are a cover for lack of evidence. A good argument justifies its passion. So a debate is an exchange, right? You have the two people and you had Chris Wallace in the middle. God love him. God, sip and salute to Chris Wallace, who was trying to keep balance. It was like two children. It was like trying to herd cats, right? So debate is an exchange. It is a back and forth with other people holding other positions with their own arguments that they are also ideally trying to make as well. It is not simply an occasion for you to declare your own position, nor is it an occasion for other people to simply declare theirs. Both you and they need to listen to each other. All right, so listen to each other. Was that done? Nope. It was more about one talking over and bullying the other, right? So here's an example. Here's what you don't do. If you were to say something like, I can't think of anything stupider than to give up meat. People have always eaten it. Besides, our teeth aren't just made for chewing beans. Okay, does that really sound like a premise to talk to people about why you should give up meat? Well, I think it's stupid. I don't know why you're doing that. You're not supposed. Okay? So although this sounds a lot like how debates tend to go, it's exactly the wrong way to start. Someone who really can't think of anything stupider than such a widely held position probably just doesn't understand it at all. Really, you can't think of anything? Throwing in a few one-line reasons to cover for dismissing the entire position without even considering its argument is also an unwise move. Try for a more open-minded approach, like saying something like, I am still trying to understand people who think we should give up meat. How can some people go so far as to give up a type of food that humans have always eaten? And aren't our digestive systems meant partly for meat? You're posing questions, right? So your job is not only to understand other debaters' conclusions, in other words, you understand your opposition, but you're also trying to listen for their arguments. This means much more than just passively waiting out someone's statement of their views. You need to actively seek out the reasons and understand why they find these reasons so compelling. So the no statement, the one I gave you, which was, I can't think of anything stupider than giving up meat, that is automatically a declaration and a dismissal of the other side before you even begin talking, okay? There's nowhere to go from there, not without jumping into a fight. And that's what we witnessed last week. We couldn't even talk about the issues. We couldn't even talk about healthcare. We couldn't talk about, what's going on with COVID. And now our president and first lady and several of the high-ranking staff are all sick with COVID. You know, the president is 74 years old. We've heard the statistics, we've heard the evidence, we've lived through this the past, what, 6, now going on 7 months of how dangerous this is. This puts us in a national security issue, all because we want to go to fisticuffs more than have an actual debate. So, suppose that you have listened actively and questioned carefully to the full satisfaction of the person that you are arguing with or debating. You've worked hard to understand their argument. Now you are entitled to ask for the same careful, extended, and active listening back. You have what is called leverage. So, you heard those 2 statements that I gave you about eating meat, right? So now here's a way you could possibly respond to something like that. Thank you for taking the time to explore your argument with me. I know I had lots of questions and we've talked about some interesting answers. I will have to think more about it. Now, I'd like to explain my argument to you. So please ask questions as we go along, right? So what you want to do in public debates is you want to offer something positive, right? Offer something positive. Public debates often get stuck because the people involved can see no good way forward. In part, this is because so much of the focus is relentlessly negative on what's wrong with the other side or why we hate the other side, okay? But better arguments offer people something to affirm, something that is positive, something that is appealing. I don't know about you, but for those of us who have children, when you have 2 kids that are in an argument and you sit them down and try to talk to them and, well, he did this and I was, you know, and we have to put both of them kind of in timeout till they calm themselves down, try to talk to them clearly and logically about what happened so that we can resolve the disagreement, okay? Come to a debate with some suggestions about a better direction forward. When we focus on the severity of a problem, we run the risk of making people feel like nothing can be done about it, right? So couldn't the issue be framed in a more positive way? Here's an example. Here's a no statement. Here's something you don't want to do. The city stinks at conserving water. Even with the reservoirs down to a month's supply, we've only been able to cut back consumption by 25%, and people still don't get it about not washing their cars or leaving their sprinklers going. Now listen to it this way. The city can and must conserve more water. We've been able to cut back consumption by 25% so far, but with the reservoirs down to a month's supply, people should really start seeing the need to stop washing their cars or leaving their sprinklers going, right? So do you hear the difference in tone of how this sounds when you're able to then present your opinion or your side or your thoughts? So these are the exact same facts in statements, but they are stated in different ways, but the overall feeling is vastly different. I don't know about you, but we all walked away from those debates. I was embarrassed. I was disappointed. I was ashamed. And how do we come to a conclusion? Imagine all of our kids who are of voting age, and this is going to be their first year to vote. You know, the worst thing that could happen, besides picking a side, that's beside the point. You know, the worst thing that happened? Losing the integrity of our American election. Tearing down the integrity of something we've had for years, something that we feel like we take part in as a nation. And now even that's being torn down and being made into a spectacle. Part of the power of Martin Luther King's iconic I Have a Dream speech is that it is, after all, about dreams, about visions for a shared future. I have a dream that the children of former slaves and the children of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. Imagine if he had spoken only about the nightmares instead. I have a nightmare that the children of former slaves and the children of former slave owners will never be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. Yeah, All arguments, not just public debates, should try to offer something positive. You also need to work from common ground. Common ground. I mean, come on. Both of the candidates are American citizens. We live in the same nation. We live with serving the same people. We may have different points of view on how we handle problems, but is this a reason for us to, deride and cut the other person down to ribbons? Is that really the whole point? Public debate is often framed by extreme positions. In fact, however, even most partisans in those debates actually hold in between views when they speak more thoughtfully and carefully. Even in the never-ending and highly divisive abortion debate, most pro-choice advocates accept and indeed often favor some restriction on abortion, and most pro-life advocates are willing to accept it in certain circumstances. You have to look for the common ground. If you only expect bumper sticker positions, simple and insistent, not only will you find them, but they're probably all that you will find. But when you look for in-between views, areas of overlap in disagreements, while still quite real, can seem manageable. Manageable and potentially productive. Also, and I love when I came to this part, right? At least be civil. Well, we didn't see that. We didn't see that at all. Can we send a copy to Walter Reed Hospital not letting Biden off the hook either? Right. Listen, I get it. I get it. But what we saw in this debate, and guys, listen, I want to know where in the scripture it says that God's will be brought forth through a human government. Really? You really think our Lord is going to share his throne and his glory with a man? Nope. Not with a man. New Testament shows Jesus doing a lot of the in-between in all he did. Right. First sentence in this section, can you see it there? Don't deride or attack other debaters. This is a mistake that even has its own name. It's called ad hominem. Ad hominem. And it means to the man. And it's a fallacy. You don't have to like the people that you are debating, let alone agree with them. You may have trouble even taking them seriously, and likely they will return the disfavor. But you can still have some courtesy. And so can they. In a way, such occasions are what civility is for. Focus on their arguments. Describe your opponent's position in fair ways. Don't use loaded language. Make it clear that you know that they have premises worth considering, even if you wholly reject their conclusions or their premises in the end. Guys, I got to tell you right now on this broadcast, me talking, even with my friends, we don't all share the same exact viewpoint on every single topic. It's not possible. Think of it as a minimalist kind of ethics. For better or for worse, everyone with whom you debate is still a part of the same society. You know what? Still human beings, still people that Jesus shed his blood for. Yes, there was a drop of blood shed for those people. How dare we think that what we have to say, what we have to think is going to move God to change what he's going to do. We debate with real people, not with some stuffed shirt caricatures. We're all trying to make sense of a world that is complex and constantly in flux, not comprehended fully by any of us. And we are all trying, by our arguments, among other means, to improve things a little bit, at least as we see it. The last thing we're supposed to do is we're supposed to leave people thinking when you go. Well, you know what? We definitely left people thinking. I talked to my daughter. I talked to my, when you talk to nieces, nephews, when you talk to younger generation, no wonder they don't want to participate in the process. No wonder they look at us and think that we're nuts. We're crazy. And how sad it is that we're actually doing ourselves a disservice, because why would they want to participate in that? Why? They don't want to participate in that. My daughter just shook her head. She's like, I'm not even watching. I'm not even watching. You know, maybe if they'd shown the debates on Twitch, but these kids, they're just waiting for the grown-ups to get their stuff figured out. My daughter even said, she said, you know what, Mom, I'm just waiting for all these old people to die off so that maybe someday we'll have government that looks like us. Wow. What do I say to that? How do I apologize on a level to my daughter about what's happening when this normally doesn't happen? At least be civil. At least be civil. We wish to be treated civilly ourselves, even by those who disagree with us and might even place us, shockingly, among the ranters or the closed-minded. When we are civil to others, we have a clear right to ask the same civility back. This is why I don't talk politics on my social media. This is why I don't make, I bet people don't even know what side I'm on, because I'm not going to talk about it. You want to know how I feel about those kinds of topics? Call me. Message me. Let me know. You're not wanting to participate in it either, and you're not as young as they are. And you know what? That's how the system breaks down. That's how our democracy is taken apart little by little. Because as more people decide that they don't want to participate, guess what, guys? People higher ups can do whatever they want. We have become numb. We've become not a part of the process, because we just don't want anymore. We're tired of listening to it. And that's sad. You don't feel like others are being very civil right now? Me neither. We may hope for civility back from others, but we may not get it. Again, though, it is the job of civil debaters to get out in front regardless. Even the best argument in the world is only part of a debate. Debates stay with us because they have many related aspects. They draw on many facts and claims, and that may be uncertain or controversial or conflicting. And they allow a variety of conclusions. Philosophers have been debating about happiness for a few thousand years. Single arguments may make a difference then, but rarely will one argument make all the difference, even if it is completely correct. Single arguments or arguers may address one aspect of a debate, revise and improve certain other arguments, take up other aspects of new ideas, all the time changing as they go. But the debate itself shifts slowly, like a great ship turning in the sea. The upshot is that public debate takes patience. The great ship is going to turn slowly, no matter how energetically or persuasively we hold forth on deck. And because it is whole debates that shift, carrying with them a jumble of specific arguments on all sides, people may not change their minds on the biggest themes, even when they acknowledge unanswered arguments against some parts of their views. The world may still seem to make more sense the old way. And they're not being irrational any more than you and I are being irrational in holding on to our own favorite views of things. Even when, to be honest, there may be good arguments against parts of them also. Change not only takes time, it usually takes a more attractive overall view of things. So no matter how good your argument is, then do not expect most people to rise as one to agree with you the moment you finish your case. Instead, just ask for their open-minded consideration. Expect them to be willing to consider changing. And again, you will be most successful at this if you are visibly willing to consider changing yourself. You know, guys, it's a crazy time right now. 2020 has not failed to bring us the crazy out of people. But I pray that as we move forward, that we remember He knows the plans He has for us. Plans to prosper us and not to harm us. Plans to give us a hope and a future. Those are words that I like to live by. Those are important words that we need to live by. And more importantly, those are the words that are going to stand long after any human who is in a position of leadership thinks that they have the world by the heartstrings. Because at the end of the day, that's not the one that's holding the globe. And I don't know about you, but I don't think it's worth all that trouble. So I'll tell you what was trouble. It was me being without my laptop for a solid week. And so now that I have my Facebook friends list back because it was downloaded on my computer rather than saved in the cloud, it's a lesson I learned this week. Save things to the cloud. Always save them to the cloud. So now I get to go back and purge my Facebook list because I'm being careful about the people that I have in my life, who I'm listening to, who I'm surrounded by, who are speaking into my life, who I'm in relationship with. And so I carefully consider those kinds of things. So if you want to grab a copy of this book, it's called A Rule Book for Arguments by Anthony Weston. If you are, if you've got kids that are in high school that are learning debate, or if you just want to learn about the process yourself, this is a great little book. Breaks down all of that, and has a chapter in here about debate. And like I said, guys, I'm going to start using a scorecard, and we're going to rate these things as they happen. But let's see what really happens. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more from this book because we got some important things coming up. Like my birthday. So next weekend, guys, I can't wait to celebrate with you. I love celebrating with you on Saturdays anyway, but we're going to be celebrating my birthday. I made it to another one, guys. And look, this hair, check it out, guys. Here's my hair progress. I've got enough hair now. I have a part. And the hair is, ooh, look at that poof. Look at that poof. And we got, the cowlick's doing its thing. It's definitely, it doesn't know whether it wants to go down, or notice it could be like a curlicue in and of itself. But I am celebrating 9 months out from chemo. And my hair's growing back. And I love it. It's a little wiry. It's a little bouffant, in places. But I'm grateful for it. And more importantly, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for joining me this morning. I love getting to see you all on here. It is a true pleasure. Let's get out there and make today fabulous, right? We've been given another beautiful day. The weather here in Texas is beautiful. We have nice, cool mornings. It does get a little hotter in the afternoon. I'm waking to beautiful mornings where the windows are open and it just sounds so peaceful outside. So I hope you get out there and enjoy today. Make today fantastic. We've been given the gift of today and the gift of time that we have. Let's use it wisely, right? And hopefully I'll get to see you back here next Saturday. So remember, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Mountain Time, and 7 o'clock Pacific Time. And you can catch me here on Facebook Live or on Instagram or on my YouTube channel. And we're going to make today awesome. Share the best of ourselves with our friends and our loved ones. And more importantly, remember whose we are and why we're here. And remember that no weapon formed against us will prosper. Because he has a plan. And his plan is the perfect plan for us. And so that's how we're going to live our lives and choose to live our lives and stick to the rule book, right? So guys, if you want to get a copy, I'll be posting a link to that here in the comments thread. And I'll be posting a link in my bio on Instagram here. But more importantly, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all so much. Love getting to see all of my sweet and wonderful friends. Can we do coffee and visit in person to celebrate my birthday? Oh, I would love that, Teresa. That would be fun. That would be fun. You are choosing on participating with the people in your community. Small changes can lead to big changes. That's it right there. That's it. Choosing to focus on participating with the people in your community because those are your people, right? Walking with them, working with them, living with them, loving them, serving them. That's how we're going to make change possible. All right. All right, guys, have a great one. Thanks so much for being here. Fill up your mug. Get out there and share your awesomeness with the world because they need it. I know I need it, and I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back here next weekend, and we'll share coffee, catch up on all the things.